one of the things I think that a lot of people need to understand, and I've taken 2 years to really kind of hone in on this, and this is what I would say is what a narcissist goes through when they gray rock. When we gray rock them, this is what goes through their mind when we gray rock them. And it's something like this. I'm going to use an analogy. I'm going to use a story. So say you're driving along and you're out in the country and you glance down at your gas tank. I just pulled out of a gas station, and you've got about 1/8 of a tank left, and you don't know where you're at. So you're debating about, well, shoot, you're looking around like you need some supply, you need some fuel, you need some gas, right? So you're driving by these homes, and you're looking for a home that looks like there's maybe somebody outside in the yard, maybe somebody's doing yard work, maybe somebody that looks friendly that you could ask, because you really don't know too much about these people. They could be an axe murderer out there for all you know. But you're driving through the country, surveying the land, looking both left and right through the windshield of your car, and trying to scope out somebody, that even a body, right? I mean, you're way out in the middle of the country, so the houses are pretty spread out. So you get up there, and it looks like you see somebody out there, and it looks like a guy, it looks like a farmer, guy in some overalls, and he's just getting out of a tractor. And you really need fuel, so you're kind of getting desperate now. You look down, and your gas tank is like, it's just on orange, that orange light that comes on, so you don't even know how much you've got left. But it's also hot too, and you're sweating, and so you got to make sure your air conditioning stays on too. You don't want to be stranded out here. But at least there's somebody out there, right? So you get up to this guy, and you see he looks nice and everything. So you ask him, you say, hey, look, I'm really trying to find a gas station. Can you help me? And he says, sure, yeah, sure. And so he starts talking, and the more he starts talking, you kind of feel like he didn't understand the question. Like, I'm down on my fuel, and I need a gas station. Otherwise, I'm going to run out, and I could get stranded here. And so the guy starts talking about, well, you go down yonder, and then you turn left. No, is it right? Well, you go past, I know, old Murphy's house, and I think there's something down there. And so the more you're talking to this guy, the more you're realizing that something isn't, you guys aren't speaking the same language. He's not really there. So now you have this decision to make. Do you cut and run and basically use the little bit of fuel that you have to just keep going and maybe find another source of fuel? Or do you stick around and try and, get this guy to tell you, or try to communicate with this guy, or do something? So maybe you end up deciding, you know what, I know I've got the needle isn't down completely on E, but I'm just going to keep going, because this guy's not telling me anything. And if I keep staying here and listening to him, I may not ever get the fuel. I may run out of gas completely. And so you make that decision. You're like, I got to cut and run. So you go ahead and you just decide, I'm going to keep going down the road, and hopefully there'll be somebody else there. There'll be a gas station up ahead, because you can see the town. You can kind of see some city lights. It's starting to get dark, so you go ahead and drive up. So the analogy of the story is, the narcissist is the one looking for that supply. The narcissist needs fuel. So the narcissist always needs fuel. They always need supply. So when you gray rock a narcissist, that's the same thing as you acting like the farmer, telling him nonsense, or telling, so from the narcissist standpoint, you might not be good supply if you gray rock. If you don't give him the answer to his fuel, he's going to figure out somewhere else to go. And maybe he'll find another person. Maybe he'll go down the street and find another farmer that can maybe give him directions to that supply, or at least give him a little can of gas or something. But the more boring you are, the more unhelpful you are without being unhelpful, without outwardly being disruptive or uncooperative, the more effective you're going to be. And that narcissist isn't going to necessarily get mad. They're just going to say, geez, I'm not getting what I need here, so I'm just going to keep going down the road. So I hope you understand that that's kind of how they see it. At least that's what I've learned the last couple of years. That's how they see supply that's how they see gray rock, is when you actually just don't give them exactly what they want. They have to decide, because they're always calculating, so they're going to decide whether to cut their losses and just go ahead and move on to the next supply. And so that's kind of how they do that. So just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So I was thinking about that while I was pumping gas. And I think that's kind of fun. Yeah, the other thing too is somebody just brought this up, that they hate being ignored. So think about that. You're driving down the road, you've got low gas, you drive up to this farmer and he's ignoring you. Well, guess what? You're not going to necessarily, you're going to get mad if that farmer won't even turn around to even acknowledge you. And so you're more likely to strike out. So here's the thing. If you were the farmer in this situation, if you were the person who knew the narcissist was coming down the street, you wouldn't even be out in the yard. You wouldn't even be out. You would know ahead of time. You would take precautions ahead of time to not be out in that yard when you know that that guy is going to be driving down the street. So in other words, if you're the farmer, you're like in the house. You're not even seen. So the narcissist keeps driving past that. But if you're out there in the yard and the narcissist comes up, hey, I need some fuel, and you ignore him totally, he's going to get pissed. He'll probably keep driving down the road, but there might be an altercation. But if you're the farmer and you're nice, and you just like don't quite get it, like, well, I think old Murphy Brown's house, or Murphy Brown, old Farmer Murphy, or you kind of get the point, right? That if you just don't give them what they want without pissing them off, they'll move on. You won't be good supply. Now, there's another way you can not be good supply, and that's when you ignore them. That's when you totally cut them out. But in order to completely ignore them, you want to be in the house. You don't want to be out in the yard. You want to be in the house. So they don't even, like, you're not even on their radar. That's how you want to be, if that makes sense. So anyways, I'll be curious to see what your comments are. All right, guys. As always, love y'all. Bye.